Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 51. Happy Thursday to you all. Please remember that this call is being recorded. It's going to be available in our Horizen podcast, and we are live now on YouTube. Please also remember to be asking your questions on Menti so we can have our good Q&A session at the end. I'll pass the word now to Luca to give us the engineering updates.
Hi again. Thank you, Angie. So the engineering team is moving on with the post-beta activities, which have been defined and shared with the team. Alberto is here, and with him we can go through the now. Alberto?
Oh, yes, sure, Luca. Okay, yes. Currently, we are fully focused on the tasks that are going to be needed for our final release. And so we have been working on identifying them and obviously prioritizing them, and also sharing, between the engineering team. So there are three main areas for now that we are working on, and let's say maybe four. Okay, first thing that our engineering team will be focusing on are the ZenD fixes and improvements. So there are some tasks that they have been working on, and they would be working on, that are related to some fixes that were needed, and now they have been scheduled, and they are going to be completed, I think, in September. Okay, regarding the new steps about the proving system and the SDK part, as we discussed in the last calls, we had an incentive meeting, so a workshop where we discussed the incentive structure on the sidechain side, and is needed for rewarding all the actors that are taking participation in the on the sidechain side. So the formalization of the document is in progress, and this is another things that will continue through, I think, for sure, all of August. I mean, currently we already have 15 pages, but that's a quite huge part of the system, so I expect to have much more. Probably this will be another separate paper that is going to be published later. Also, because just a very quick thing about this, we have a model that works, an incentive scheme that works without Coinbase. So it's quite an interesting thing, because, as you know, there are many questions. What happens when there would be no Coinbase in many crypto projects? And so, I mean, what we designed is a structure, a blockchain, that is capable of working with just transaction fees. So, still work in progress, but very interesting stuff, in my opinion. Okay, switching to proving part and circuit. We schedule also first, circuits and gadgets. So, for example, we are going to work on a circuit that will prove transition caused by a transaction, by a withdrawal request, and so on. And moreover, we will be working on the wrap circuit and the single and multi-transition wrap circuit. But another very important part that we are exploring, and that we will be exploring even much deeper in the next weeks, is the set of proving systems that we are going to use. Okay, for sure, we are going to use a cycle of curves that allows us to have a smaller field size, because otherwise, we have seen that the performances are not going to be enough to guarantee our target throughput. So currently we're exploring different composition of different kind of proving systems interacting together. For now, we have been looking, for example, at Graph16 for the base proofs and Marlin for wrapping. There is even another possibility that we are taking in consideration. So currently, a lot of effort is understanding the performances and benchmarking and understanding which is the best combination that will provide us the best performances. This is quite focal point for the next proving system implementation. Okay. Then, always on performances, beyond the specific proving system that we are going to use, there are, for sure, one of the things that have in common these proving systems are multi-exponentiations. So, for this reason, and this is taking a lot of the time that is required for creating a proof. So, another important part of the task that has been scheduled is let me say, a research on possible optimization of the multi-exponentiation, and, for example, also we are taking in consideration, as we anticipated the last calls, using GPUs. So this currently is a task schedule. So inspecting this possibility and understanding and testing and understanding this possibility. Okay, let's go on the SDK side. So to be circuit friendly, let us go in this way, we are going to replace many of the hash functions, and change them to Poseidon. So, for example, the sidechain transaction commitment tree will use Poseidon, and so this is one of the part that is going to be changed on the SDK. But also other hashes are involved that are required, for example, for proving a transaction inside the sidechain. So many parts of the sidechain are going to be changed to, in the hash part, to use this Poseidon hash. So to be ready when we will have the circuit to let me say, prove the correct transition. Always on the SDK side, we are also, okay, and this is another quite interesting stuff. So we are, let me say, extending and improving the Explorer. So we will have a new version of the Explorer that for the main chain that will let you see also the sidechain related stuff. Sidechain that have been declared, forward transfers, and so on. So, and we have been already working on this on a new version of the Explorer. But moreover, we want to give the possibility on the sidechain side to have an Explorer for the sidechain itself, and have the possibility for the developer to even introduce his specific data on the Explorer side. So, for example, we have been talking in the past about the Lambo registry, so the car registry is sidechain. So, what do you expect from the Explorer? You expect from the Explorer to show you the cars that are available, or the transaction that sell the car, and so on. So, it becomes evident that the Explorer needs to be extended and extensible. So we have been working, and we will be continue working on a version of the Explorer that can be fed by the sidechain, or by the main chain. So we identified an interface that will be in common between these two. That it will be, let me say, will decouple the kind of blockchain you have on that is, let me say, providing the data. And so we will have main chain that will have an adapter that will be interfaced with Explorer, and same thing will be done on the sidechain side. So on the sidechain side, you will have another adapter that will respect the same interface and that will provide the data to Explorer. In such a way, we will have a more modular architecture for the Explorer, and also we paid a lot of attention to improving the performance of the Explorer itself. So this is another very interesting part that we will be working on in the next weeks, and probably, maybe more than weeks. Okay, just last thing about the Lambo registry. Lambo registry is almost ready. So there were some change requests that were needed. So currently they're working on these change requests, and but after having published this, we are going to work on a set of videos where we are going to show step by step, the main elements that are needed to customize a sidechain. So we will take as an example the Lambo registry. We will have a video explaining what are for example, the 4 main parts that has to be customized for constructing a Lambo registry. And then we will have the other 4 videos that let you, deep dive into that specific element and see how to do it in the details. So this is something that is going to happen in the next weeks, and so you will be able to see this video series with all the steps that are needed for creating the Lambo registry from the SDK. And following the Lambo registry, there will be also a technical webinar where we will provide more details about this. And I think that's all, probably.
Yeah. Thank you, Alberto. Very excited about the upcoming videos on the Lambo registry, but also, of course, everything else. And thanks also to the community members who are actively contributing in the sidechain channel here on Discord. Your feedback is always very important. It helps us improving. So keep following the channel, keep asking your questions. So thanks again. Back to Angie.
Thank you, Luca and Alberto, for the great updates. Let's continue now with Spencer to give us the Helpdesk updates.
Happy Thursday, fellow teammates and Horizen enthusiasts. Today's Helpdesk status is for the 30th of July, 2020. Our customer satisfaction over the past 7 days, 4.7 average rating on a scale of 5 based on 16 user reviews. There are 65 tickets submitted to the service desk in the past 7 days. 58.5% of those tickets were faucet-based. 41.5% were for other issues. Prominent faucet issues, most common faucet issues were users in localities with scarce IP addresses, particularly Nigeria, verification of addresses for the sweet HODL bonus, and faucet payment questions. On the Sphere by Horizen side, as is typical, the most prominent issue was the seed phrase recovery of a wallet, instructions being given to users. All issues encountered this week were easily handled, and that concludes the report from the service desk.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's continue now with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everyone. So on the growth side, as you know, we have gaming coming pretty soon. So we had a great meeting with the team on Tuesday. It looks like within the next 2 weeks, we should have something up on the site live and ready to play. If everything goes really well, it might even be next week. I don't want to promise. Right now, what we're doing is working on the authentication between their servers and ours. So that's always the tricky part, is trying to figure out, how to protect the system. In addition to that, we're also making good progress on the China faucet. So the China faucet is meant to attract people, obviously, in China and they can't use Gmail. For people that use our current faucet, you know that we rely a lot on Gmail for email confirmations and registration. So basically what we're doing this week is just trying to learn how to integrate with WeChat and how to basically replace Gmail with WeChat in the new faucet, which requires learning an entirely new code base. So basically a little bit of work is needed there. In terms of the tiered referral program, this week we are testing the payout. So we had to write new code, which would basically pay out twice a month to all referrers. And we tested it, it works. And so that's a big stepping stone to getting this live on the Zen faucet. Lastly, we're continuing to look at SEO. We're upgrading to Yoast Premium, which is a SEO tool that plugs into WordPress, and we'll be configuring that this week and hopefully seeing some really good results in terms of organic traffic to our websites. And Gustavo, if there's anything that you wanted to add?
Nothing specific. So me and Mac, along with the SDK team, we've been working on the SDK documentation and also documenting the car registry, and that's been taking pretty much all our time. And yeah, regarding the MLM, let's just use the tiered referral system, as you just said. We are almost finished testing it, so looking forward to integrate on the upcoming weeks. And that's all.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue now with Rowan for the BD updates.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Brief update from me today. Just a quick reminder about what the BD team is currently working on. So our top task just now is sales documentation, which is nearly complete, at least for the first phase. Waiting on some design input because none of us are particularly brilliant on that front. Luckily, we have an awesome design and marketing team that are picking up the slack there. Dev shop outreach is progressing very well. We have a couple of contracts in review at the moment, which will enable 2 new dev shops to add Horizen and do sidechains to their technology offerings. So excited to see how that progresses. And the other thing we're working on is exchange staking. So this is the products where users can lock up some Zen on a particular exchange and receive some rewards with the exchange running nodes in the background for funding. Working with one of our exchange partners at the moment to try and bring that to fruition. Bit early to talk about it in detail, but it's led to a really quite positive conversation about lots of different ways that we can expand the way we're collaborating and expand the product offerings available to the Horizen community. So I'll be talking about that in a lot more detail, most likely next week, if not the week after at the very, very latest. I'm going to pass over to Vano. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he's got a little bit of an update to provide on an exchange he's working with, as well as some other push on data analytics. I'll pass over to you, Vano.
Thanks, Rowan. Hello, everyone. So as our community might have already seen from our announcements, Zen has been listed on Whitebit Exchange, about which we have been talking for some time now already. We have got Zen USDT and Zen Russian Ruble pairs, and trading is already open from today. I'm particularly happy for the Russian Ruble pair, as it is one of the rare pairs for us with good potential liquidity, and this is particularly good news for our Eastern European and Russian language community, as Whitebit mainly covers that area, and our community there will have it much easier time now to onboard to Horizen ecosystem. They also have a variety of funding options, including Visa, MasterCard, and local regional payment providers from Russia and Ukraine. And there is already quite a good volume generated on trading pairs as well. I'm pretty excited for this partnership and looking forward to continue working with Whitebit as they see value in a deeper integration within our ecosystem as well. Apart from that, we have also been integrated successfully in CoinMarketCap's new service, Signals and Events, and if you check it now, it has a lot of future events and signals there already from us. Yeah, so we are capitalizing our position as an early adopter there. And after our Zendoo beta release, we have renewed our work with ratings, data analytics, and review websites to make sure that They have an updated information about us, and we also get updated third-party unbiased reviews as well. I hope we will have new updates about that in the upcoming weeks. And that's all from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you. Next, we have Lucy to give us the marketing updates.
Thank you, Angie. Happy Thursday. And now we are at the end of the month. I would like to give a brief update for the community growth. So we had a 3.8% overall growth since last month. So the percentage may seem small, but keep in mind that the actual number is quite big because the growth is based off a big existing community size already. So even a single-digit growth percentage means an impressive number. So the biggest growth is the mailing list with 4.3%, and YouTube with 3.9%, and Twitter with 2.3%. So, and then also for our developer community growth, we saw 42% member growth since last week. Just 1 week, we had a 42% increase. So this number is based on the numbers members joined through our early adopter program HEAP and developer contribution platform HDE. So this is really exciting, particularly because we are preparing a series of events for developers that will help them start building apps and sidechains on Horizen and enable to apply their own customizations, to whatever that they want to build. So some of these events include a series of tutorial videos of a build of our Lambo registry Alberto just introduced, and an online, and an invite-only webinar, which is scheduled for the beginning of September, and then a sidechain hackathon. So a lot of things, exciting things to look forward to. So but if you want to get all the invites and early notifications, you can sign on through HEAP and HDE. So, and then the other things, Vano just mentioned that we have just announced our new exchange listing on Whitebit earlier today. And then there will be more community activities like AMA and giveaways for this integration. So please stay tuned for what's coming next. So meanwhile, the interview that I mentioned during our last call, the interview Rowan did with the social media influencer Crypto Rich has been published on YouTube. So they discussed our latest release and do, and other programs like HEAP and HDE, and how they work together, how they support the growth of the Horizen ecosystem. So in the interview, Rowan answered the questions I believe many people already also have. So I strongly encourage everyone to check out the interview. It's very interesting, and you will find that interview on our social media feeds and YouTube channel. So other reminders also, we still have an active giveaway. It is to celebrate the beta release of Zendu, and then also to thank our community for supporting us. The giveaway pool amount is $300 in Zen. So the last date to join is August 15th. So you can find the giveaway on our Faucet website. So make sure that you visit Faucet every day to get free Zen. And lastly, our swag store sale ends tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day to get a 50% off store-wide. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Now let's welcome Rosario to give us the product and engineering updates.
Hi, everyone. That's great update. So 42% increase over a week is huge. So big thank you, Lucy, and the rest of the team for that. So we have this is a little bit of a logistics announcement. We have a new home for GitHub. We migrated to Horizen Official, and a big thanks to our team, Chronic and Mac, for the seamless execution for this migration. This is one of the last steps that we had for our rebranding effort, and it was a critical step as we focus on expanding our developer network. So it's comes in great time. I'm working with multiple departments to organize our developer distribution network. So I'll be pairing up with Lucy quite a bit in this effort going forward, and already we've been working closely. We have a lot planned to help distribute our SDK with the ultimate goal of having developers build on our ecosystem. So this is a huge focus for us, and I'm sure Rob may go into more detail about the strategy, but we are hitting this really hard, and that's we are going to be moving with very aggressive stance over the next month, starting the next month, but we'll continue probably a 6-month campaign. So this is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to sharing more details once we have those more ironed out. So on the HDE front, and since Lucy already mentioned some of the stats, I wanted to highlight for HDE, we have 7 tasks listed. Of those 7 tasks, 5 are in progress. So that's a great measure, and I'm happy to see this increase in developer participation. We will be posting new tasks, so those that are registered on our Heap platform will be getting these new tasks immediately. So we have 2 bounties in progress, and we'll be moving forward to paying those bounties soon, within this next week. That's it for now, guys. Thank you, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to add any updates or comments?
Yeah, thanks. So we have these meetings every week, and some of them we have huge announcements, and some of them we have medium-sized announcements, and other times we have ones where it's like, well, everything is basically continuing on. And that's actually a good thing, because sometimes there will be big changes, but much of the time we're doing smaller incremental growth steps. And these smaller growth steps are actually exponential in nature. So we have small daily increases in the number of people in the community, the exchanges we get listed on, developers, miners, holders, and that growth pays off big over time. It's like compounding interest. And one of the Horizen's team's big strength is a stable team that's well organized with a strong organization that has a world-changing plan, and we're working the plan. So even though we don't have world-shattering announcements every week, this consistency in growth over year after year after year will see this project just grow to a humongous size with all sorts of impact on the world. So I wanted to mention that. So don't be negative when we don't have monster things to announce every week. Just realize when things are going steady state and growing, that's exactly where we want to be. Thanks. That's all I got.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part and Q&A session.
Rolf, that was such a perfect message. And I have to say, if you look close enough, every exponential function looks linear, right? So really good point. Okay, a few big things going on. Well, always lots of things going on, but they are in the nature of the way we like to do business is setting up a machine and unleashing that machine and just letting it grind forward. So the machine now that we've been functioning is focusing on, well, obviously constantly and rapidly making the SDK more useful, building better tools for devs to deploy sidechains, and documentation. This is a bit of an old story. You've heard us mention this over the last few weeks, but we are making significant progress and really looking forward to the Lambo registry being published, and then all of the documentation around that. We're going to have video tutorials. We have a webinar that's upcoming in September. So we have a whole sequence of events that's going to go on to just make the SDK more useful and get the right tools in the hands of developers to start doing some really cool things with it. We're also working constantly in the background on very interesting partnerships, and as we always very frustratingly have to caveat here in this public forum is until the deals are actually completely structured and we're ready for a public announcement, we don't want to leak any information about them. But we are working with some very interesting possibilities here in the public blockchain space, or public blockchain partners. So some big names here that I'm just extremely excited to mention. The exact roadmap of what we're looking to do with these other public projects applications that are being built currently on other chains, or looking to either switch and completely, or at least pilot a project with Zendoo. That's a really big deal for us because we're positioning Zendoo to be a useful and very exciting, sexy alternative to some of the platforms that are currently on the market. So the first step is to actually pilot interesting projects with that. So we have a bunch of these in the pipeline. And then, of course, companies in key industries, we're looking to announce some pilots as well. So just to give you a flavor for the different threads of where we're going on the business development front to actually make our technology useful and get it out there into the wild. And, Lucy and Rosario mentioned, or at least alluded to, this idea of what I'm calling a shock and awe campaign on the marketing side. So this is going to be an all-out effort. And let me just tell you, just a preface here is we've been heads down, just building away for years now. And we've come a long way over the last few years as a project. In the early days of 2017, it was a much different environment, and the way we operated as a young, brand new project was much different than we operate now. We've matured significantly over the years. We've built the in-house machine to start doing some very sophisticated and productive things on the marketing side. But thus far, we have not actually scaled up our marketing investments, or just the budget that we apply to marketing. And to give you a little flavor of the scope of what we've been doing, if you go back to some of the live streams and where we discussed our budget allocations, you'll note that we've been doing about 5% of our budget in the marketing domain. And that was quite rational because we're building out the base technology and the product, Zendoo, that we just released the beta for last month. So why would we do heavy marketing if pre-product? It didn't quite make sense. Of course, we wanted to build the marketing machine and get it ready to really scale. Well, I'm happy to say that now is exactly the time that we're going to start scaling this. So everything is really coming together beautifully as planned over the last few years. Now we're going to, at minimum, double our marketing budget, minimum. And we're really going to get the word out there. We're going to do this in a multi-channel way across many different fronts with different people with different expertise in particular areas that we want to hit. So some of these areas that we want to hit, obviously we talk about this, developer outreach. This is such a key component to what we're doing because we've put together absolutely unique and exciting technology that now we need to get out there, and we need just this groundswell of products being built with it in very interesting ways. And we're going to advertise significantly in different channels to application developers. And also just for general awareness for the brand, right? If you were to do a cross-sectional survey of, and maybe we should do this, but a cross-sectional survey across the industry of people who are interested and involved in cryptocurrency and blockchain, have they heard of Horizen? Okay, maybe some percentage have, and many more percentage haven't. And even those that have heard of Horizen probably have a misperception of who we are and what we're doing. They probably don't understand the really cutting edge stuff and the possibilities for how this stuff is going to really scale and hit the industry in a big way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to launch these, a sustained marketing campaign across many channels that it's time to just start being loud and start making some headlines. So expect a lot more there. And as we start firming up some of these relationships and the channels that we're going to be approaching, we will make it clear to you guys what's going on and relay performance and some of the targets that we're doing, the KPIs that we're putting together to make sure that anyone that we work with is meeting targets and we're getting good bang for the buck. But we're no longer going to be afraid to start spending money on marketing, and it's time to really ratchet that up. So expect more to come, and honestly could not be more excited about where we are as a project. So I'll stop here and we can open it up to some questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. So the first question, it's part of a comment and then a question, and it says, last week it was mentioned that we were in talks with 3 top-tier blockchain developers. Explain how and what they've contributed thus far to the blockchain ecosystem that will help to leverage Zen.
So by top-tier developers, I wonder if that was a developer shops, like software companies, and we are targeting very specifically blockchain software development companies. So nothing, and Rowan, please feel free to jump in here as well to contribute, things that or conversations you've been having. But on my end, we've been moving forward, and in particular, an extremely exciting one that's one of the largest system integrators and consulting firms in the world, with one of their subsidiaries, and looking to forge a partnership there. But it's not done yet. Now, it's a company that we've been working with, so we have experience with their blockchain team, and now that we have Zendu ready to go, at least in piloting certain projects, it seems like we have something there. So, but I wish I could give a little bit more information, but our general strategy is until we have a deal signed and an announcement ready, we don't like to leak information. And Rowan, anything on your end?
Yeah, I think that comment came from me originally, and absolutely spot on. I don't like talking about things in advance of them happening, but I just like giving a flavor of what we're working on and kind of what direction we're trying to take. And because the technology is brand new, and because as an organization, we're still kind of operating in the shadows, if you like. We're kind of just starting to go loud now. Like Rob said, we're just starting to really crank up marketing efforts and really crank up spending. A lot of these top-tier blockchain development companies haven't been keeping an eye on what we're building. They're only just starting to realize that we have something that's actually really powerful, really unique, and really useful. So they're going to take time to really dig into the code, understand exactly what it is that the engineering team at Horizen have created, and understand how they can apply it to the use cases and customers they're working with on a daily basis. So maybe it was a little bit early to be talking about this previously, but we're probably talking about 2 to 3 weeks of review period before we really start coming together and having technical conversations about where we can slot this technology into existing issues they're trying to solve. But we will, of course, keep everybody updated. And it is very exciting to start seeing companies taking a look under the hood and checking out what we have to offer.
Okay, thank you. So the next question says marketing question, and it says, how is the relationship with Barry Silbert being leveraged to increase click-through rate in terms of market discovery and attaining more views?
Well, we don't include Barry specifically on marketing campaigns, but obviously having a relationship with DCG is extremely important to us. And I think just signals to the market in general, and just signals to the industry in general, that we are a very high quality project, and we're one of less than a dozen projects that DCG has taken a personal interest in at the protocol level. So we're really proud of that relationship. And there's really not much more to it. Everything's very open and transparent, and I have to say that Barry and DCG are some of the highest quality professionals in the industry. They don't play favorites in the sense that they don't jump in and start trying to call shots on projects. They just either say they love what you're doing and they want to support you, or they don't in the past. And we're very fortunate that they gave us that vote of confidence and been with us for the last couple of years.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question says, will there be an easy to follow walkthrough for less technical people who want to use sidechains, or there will be a simple UI in the future for the SDK?
Great question. Alberto, do you want to talk maybe some of your vision for that?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Rob. Okay. First, let's distinguish maybe two things. For sure, from a user perspective, we are going to create all the elements that will allow a sidechain developer to create a user interface that allows a user to interact with the sidechain with a UI with the most, easiest possible process and tools. So for this reason, we are going to change Sphere to make it customizable. So you will be able, as a developer, to introduce inside Sphere specific UI components that are necessary for introduce your specific data. For example, for a Lambo registry, could be, for example, a version of Sphere where you have the possibility to manage your cars and see, I don't know, for example, the color and whatever regards is related to your car. The same thing is going to happen for the Explorer. I mentioned before the Explorer, and because the Explorer will be another let me say channel where the user can use see the blockchain data, and also will be used also in light mode by the. Okay, another story is about the development, because if you are going to create, for example, a car registry sidechain, is required that you enter into details, let me say, writing code, because in reality there will be logic that has to be implemented. And so, as you would do for even a regular application, where you write your logic, also on top of the SDK, you have to add your logic. For sure, we are trying to make this process the easiest as possible by encapsulating all the complexity. But at least your logic should be for sure added to the project.
Hey, Alberto, that's a great explanation, and I was thinking about this as you were talking, because there's going to be, just like there have been with people that are hosting nodes and people that are working with node hosting organizations, there's definitely a split, because creating and launching a sidechain, to do it right, is almost like building a business, where you are going to commit to developing it and improving it over time and making it useful. It's not something to do casually. However, we have so many people that want to participate. So just like we have people that participate in hosting nodes right now, and secure nodes, by working with node hosting providers to be able to say, yes, run a node on my behalf, and then they see in their Sphere wallet weekly, they get some payment for being a participating in that. I think there's going to be many people who are going to want to support the different sidechain applications and development happening. So this may already be on the roadmap, but it would seem that Sphere would be a good place to have people be able to identify major sidechains that are operating and be able to take some of their Zen that's in their Sphere wallet and put it onto that sidechain as part of a stake pool in a block forger on that sidechain.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. Yes, you're totally right, Rolf. I mean, there are two different roles, no? The developer and people that are interested in running the sidechain and even earning, let me say, by running the sidechain nodes, no, and staking some coins there. That's for sure. This is something that must be made really simple. And very straightforward. So in Sphere is for sure a perfect candidate for automatizing many of these operations.
Oh, great. Okay, good. That's what I thought. I just wanted to hear you say it. And I expect some of our node hosting providers are already looking at how to be block forger providers on different side chains so that they can offer that same type of service that they do to the people that are hosting nodes with them right now. So that's how anybody without even any technical skill is going to be able to participate in the side chains. So it's exciting for everybody that's part of the community.
And even another thing, Rolf, even better, because we have also developed the stake delegation. So in the sidechain, what does this mean? It means that if I have some coins in the sidechain, I can delegate another actor to be a forger. So what does this mean? That this actor will have more probability to be elected as a forger for a specific block. And so obviously he will get more reward, but he can share his reward with the people that delegated their coins, no, proportionally, obviously. So like a mining pool, and we have it in the protocol. Almost everything is in the protocol. just the let me say the distribution with the who delegated. So it's outside.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's great. Yeah, there might even be people that, taking this a step further, there might be people that develop block forging pools. So you have a pool that you put your sidechain Zen on, and then that pool block forgers to get you maximum profitability. I don't know, maybe that's taken a step far, but there's certainly a lot of opportunity and concurrent complexity that's going to happen as we build out the sidechain ecosystem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so those were the top 3 questions. Thank you everyone for contributing and asking. Remember that we do these every Thursday, so I do hope to see you all on our next Weekly Insider. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of the day. See you all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
great day.
See you next week.
See you next week, guys. Bye bye.
Goodbye.